Well, it's the simplicity of it that bothers people. I think that's why with religious people, believers, you give them what science is finding, and they just, they hear the truth, they hear the findings, but then they weigh it against their emotions and how do they feel about it. And that's the difference between believers and scientific thinkers, is that scientific thinkers, like myself, I don't feel anything. I don't, Tana, you're not going to, science says you're not going to see your dead father again after you die. I said, okay, well, why does science say that? And I want to hear the evidence. I don't ever go, how does that feel to me? That hurts my feelings. So I'm not going to believe that because I don't like how that feels to me. That's where believers go. And so they don't understand. Science is not using their feelings. They're just telling you what they think things are. And when they're too simple, religions don't like it. Religious people, believers don't like it. They want more of an explanation. They want it. They say the eye is so magnificent. The human eye must have been made by God because it cannot be formed in pieces. But yet science has shown, starting from a very primitive sort of what they would just call a light sensitive cell, starting from a light sensitive cell that could tell shadow or light or dark, how a form with skin flaps, shadow movement, slowly but surely starts to direct the brain to understand it's seeing things, move its head around, and eventually an eye starts to form out of the socket. It's pretty nuts. There's a whole thing on the web about how a human eye can form from just a light-sensitive cell. And it's too simple. Believers go, no, God must have mixed some magic paint together in a bucket in heaven and gave us these things. And so even when they're explained to people, they're going to not decide on whether they believe it's true or not. They're going to decide on how it makes them feel. And if a 3 or 5 day old embryo they use for stem cell research, right, if it only has 150 cells in it, it's nothing. The brain of a fly has 150,000 cells in it. And so if you really are worried about these 150 cells of a human embryo, then you're not being scientific. You're using your emotions to feel sorry for that goo in a petri dish. You're using your feelings. You're not using science. There's only 150 cells there. Stepping on an ant is causing more pain and destruction than using a 5-day-old blastocyst for science. But yet, people feel emotional about the blastocyst and about the little goo in the dish. And that's one of the big problems, is how do we get emotion out of it? How do we get feelings out of it? Because the feelings and the emotions, that's what's being manipulated by the priests, imams, and these TV evangelists, and all these charlatans and salesmen. They are using emotion and feeling to try to convey scientific reasoning to these people, and that's why it makes sense to these people, because it matches their good feelings.